Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Welcome to Fermented February. This is my last video in making Fermented February other than the giveaway at the end of the month. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys how I'm making milk kefir. And this is a bit of a unique one. We're doing it two different ways. We are using these milk kefir grains, and these ones are freeze-dried grains or dehydrated. I'm not sure which, but these ones will require a period of revitalization. I don't know exactly what you would call them. I can look because they have a word for it. Activating. You're activating the grains. So we're going to be activating these grains, and then we're also going to be using this, which is a pouch of basically there's no grains to it. It's just a pouch. You pour it into a quart of water, and then 24 hours later, boom, you have kefir. But you don't have the grains that you can continually use. So these are one-time use. These are infinite use. Before we start the process this morning, I want to go ahead and tell you a little bit about the Fermented February collaboration. And this is a group of 19 of us, including myself. We are putting out one video, between all of us, we're putting out one video every day of the month of February. At the end of February, we're doing a giveaway. The way that you can enter the giveaway is you comment below on each and every one of the videos, and we're going to randomly give away MasonTops fermenting kits to 2 people, and I'm going to draw two videos, and then we're going to do a random comment generator on each of those videos, and that will determine who's going to win. The way that you can find those videos, I'm going to link it down below. It's a Fermented February playlist that I'm aggregating all of these different videos, and we're putting it on there. Also, at the bottom of my video, as well as most other people's videos, you're going to find a channel list of all the people who are participating. Make sure you click on those and subscribe to every one of those channels. Check them out because they're amazing channels. They're definitely people that you want to know about if you don't already. I hope that you have had a chance to check them out, and if you haven't, make sure that you do. There is a huge variety of videos that are coming out. We have all kinds of milk ones. We have all kinds of cabbage, even made miso. There's lots of berries. There's honey ferments, fruit ferments, vegetable ferments. I mean, if you want to learn ferments, this is the month for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this really quick because I need to go to work. I want to be able to take you guys start to finish of inoculating these. It takes 7 different batches. This one comes with instructions. I really like that. It says to empty the entire packet of dehydrated, they're dehydrated, I read that, I don't know why I didn't remember that, dehydrated milk kefir grains into 1 cup of fresh, cold, pasteurized milk. It says do not use raw milk for activation. I should have screwed the lid on before I did that. So I'm using this milk that I get from Azure Standard, which is an amazing company, and I love getting it. This is actually not homogenized. It's the vat pasteurized, which is kind of it's a better way of pasteurizing. It doesn't kill as much of the good stuff in the milk. And so it is 6% milk fat. It's whole milk, and it does get, the cream absolutely rises to the top. So anytime I use it, I have to shake it. Because it's non-homogenized. And I have this mason jar here. This is a full mason jar. We're just going to pour 1 cup of milk in it. That's all there is to it. So we're going to put these in here, and then we're going to stir to combine. And just in case you, which I'm sure you do, are curious about what it looks like, it's just these little, it kind of looks like a seasoning packet. And then we're just going to put it in here. There we go, and then we're just going to stir it up. All you're going to do with this is you're going to cover it with a coffee filter and secure it with a rubber band. This way, no bugs can get in, no dust is going to get in there, nothing's going to be able to get in, but the air is going to be able to be free flowing without any particles. So basically, we're just going to set this on the counter, and it's just going to ferment at room temperature. We're going to check on it again in about 12 hours is what it says. It says starting at hour 12, look for the milk to have thickened to a consistency of heavy cream or thicker. And as soon as you notice the change in the milk's texture, we're going to strain out the grains, put them in fresh milk, increase the amount of milk by ½ cup, and every time that we're going to do that turnover process, we're going to add an extra ½ cup. We're going to go ahead and start this process, and then just on the last day, that is when we're going to go ahead and use this as a comparison. So we're going to compare them side by side because this doesn't take any time to activate. That is one of the bonuses of it. If you want really quick kefir, this is the way to go. But if you want less expensive and stuff that you can reuse, then you're going to want to go with the grains. So I'm going to bring you guys back tonight, and we're going to take care of that process. You know, well, I'll bring you guys back as soon as we're ready to switch this over to a new batch. And then just make sure you hang on to the instructions. It's actually the next morning. I completely forgot that I was supposed to take care of this last night, so we're gonna do it this morning. Let me show you here real quick. You can see it's got kind of the separation. This is the fat layer, but you can also see, I don't know if you can, but there's an ever so slight layer right here, and that is even further separation. That is whey. So when you're separating the grains, you want to make sure that you're using something. You don't want to use a metal strainer. I use this. It's like a nylon mesh strainer. I got it on Amazon. I'll link it below. So all we're going to do, you can see in here, so all we're going to do with this is we're just going to pour it off into this cup. You can see how thick it is. It won't even come out. That's how thick this stuff is. That's what I get for goofing around, huh? Man. All right, that sucked. That sucked a lot. Okay. Okay, so basically you're just gonna push the non-grains through the mesh. And you can see, I don't know if you can, but you can see all the grains that are in there, and they're just not going to go through the mesh. I think for the sake of these grains being a little bit on the small side, I'm not going to try and push any more through. And we're just going to take these, put them in our jar. You can use the same jar. And top it off with 1.5 cups of milk. Scrape the sides here. Cover it with a rubber band, a paper towel, and then I will see you back here. So we're ready to go ahead and give this kefir powder a try. So we're just gonna go ahead and do almost the same thing as the other one. Oh yeah, I didn't think I had enough. Okay, there we go. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna take this powder, let me see. Okay, I'm annoyed by these directions. These are already complicated. I thought I just did that. It says to heat a liter of milk to 82 degrees Celsius, 180 degrees Fahrenheit, or bring to a boil, let it cool down. Dissolve 1 sachet in a small amount of the cold milk in a cup. Why do I have to heat this up? I feel like I shouldn't have to. It's already been pasteurized. Why would I heat it up just to cool it off? But whatever, we'll follow the directions. Okay, so I feel like already the other one wins. Anyways. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and heat this up on the stove and I'll bring you back when it's done. I should have read the directions before I started this, huh? So we have our yogurt culture. Read the directions again. So dissolve 1 sachet in a small amount of cooled milk in a cup. Pour back into the liter of milk and mix well. Sorry for the lighting here. I'm in a race to get to work. There we go. And also when you're temping this, you want to make sure if you have a thermometer available to you, use a thermometer. It's a great tool for this sort of thing, but you want to make sure that it is under 110 degrees. If you go a little bit cooler, it's even better. And if you don't have a thermometer, what you can do is with very clean hands, don't use antibacterial soap with anything involved in fermenting. You will ruin the bacteria that you're trying to culture. So don't use antibacterial soap. Honestly, if you even have that crap in your house, you should dump it. It's terrible stuff. But anyways, just clean your hands with soap and water, and then you can take the back of your finger, you kind of make a, like this, and then this part of your finger, you just kind of dip it in there. And this is a pretty temperature sensitive spot of your finger. So it's kind of like a baby bottle on your wrist, but I mean, obviously you're not gonna be able to do that with your wrist. The point with that is if it feels like a tolerable temperature, it's not too hot, then you're good to go. If you can't even tell the temperature difference, that's even better. Okay, so we're just kind of dissolving it here. Maybe I should have used a fork or something, but yeah. Probably use a fork or one of those little baby whisks. So now we're just gonna pour it back into the milk. There we go. It says put it in an airtight container, close the lid, and let it stand at room temperature. So this one we're gonna put a lid on. It's different than that other one. And I just wanna make sure I'm reminding you, I've never made this before, this one. So take it easy on me. Learning with you. I just wanted to show you kind of the different options that I know are available. This is a great option if you need kefir in a hurry. If you like to have kefir infrequently, then you can just keep these little sachets on hand and you can just use them. If you like it in any regularity or anything like that, you're gonna wanna use the actual jars. So I'm gonna bring you guys back tonight where we're going to filter out the one with the grains, and I'm gonna show you guys how to set up a second fermentation to increase the health benefits even further, and we'll talk about it a little bit tonight. We are ready to take the next step with our ferment. This one, you can see, we have graduated to the largest size, so we're ready to strain it out into this extra one. We're gonna set it up for a second fermentation. I have a couple of different types. This one I like, it was a 3-pack made in Italy. And then this one just came today. I figured I would go ahead and give it a try. This one, it's a little bit smaller, but it's not as small. It's not as small as the other one that came in this kit. But this one is also a really good size. Actually, I think I'm gonna use this one. But lots of different ones you can choose from, lots of different options. Just make sure that you do not use metal. And the other yogurt that we made, the one that is from the packet, I put in the fridge this morning. So you wanna make sure that you're letting it go ahead and ferment for 24 hours. And that one was very thick this morning when I put it in the fridge. But we're just gonna go ahead and let that one sit in the fridge until we're ready for a taste test on this one. And I can tell the grains are definitely growing. I like that. Okay, this one, we're gonna put it back in our original jar. With this, all we're gonna do is we're gonna take our already filtered out milk kefir. We're gonna put a lid on it, and we're gonna leave it out. We're gonna close it fairly well, and we're gonna leave it out again at room temperature, kind of overnight, about 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours, kind of just depending on what you like. And what you're looking for is you're looking for a little bit of separation, so you can see the whey in there. That's kind of what you're looking for. You can let it go as short as long as you want. This particular part of the process just helps to further enhance the vitamins that are in here, and it kind of just helps to make a lot of the minerals more bioavailable. It basically just makes it just that much of a better ferment. It brings out that much more of the bacteria, that much more of the good benefits to it. So at this part of the process, you can add in like some dried fruit. You can add like some orange peels, some lemon peels. You can add in, I think mostly what I used was like dry fruit, but I'm not gonna add anything to it. You can also add vanilla to it. I usually add the vanilla towards the end, but you can add something that has sugar to it, and that will help it to be even more bubbly. So we are finally ready to do a taste test on these guys. When they're all finished with their fermentation time, I just pop them into the fridge. I showed you guys what the ones from the grain looked like right when I popped it in the fridge, and it has continued to ripen just a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see all the little bits and bits along the bottom here, that there's like a line underneath here that's just straight whey. And then this here is just the one that came from the powder. So I know the lighting's not the best, but it's what I got. We're gonna go ahead, we're just gonna pour these off into each of these bowls so you can kind of see the consistency of them. This is the one that we had cooked, so you can see there's like a butter line almost on top, like a very, very noticeable fat line. And so we're just gonna kind of stir it just a little bit. If this was homogenized milk, that would not happen. So if you don't like the idea of that, just, it's like a thin yogurt. So now onto the regular with the kefir grains. This one also has the fat come to the top, but it's not so solidified as the other one was. Like, it's easy to mix it in. Like, it's just easy to make it part of the kefir. See, so you just mix it right in, and then you can just pour it off. Like everybody says, it's like a pourable yogurt. That's all it is. Now, we're gonna give this a plain taste test so we can see the difference between the two. And then, okay. The chunky fat is very unappealing, but the taste itself is fine. It just tastes like yogurt. It's literally just tastes like yogurt. I like that. Now we're gonna do the regular kefir. This one fermented outside of the fridge for much longer because it fermented a whole 24-hour period, and then we second fermented it to get it bubbly. I think you can see the bubbles. Hopefully you can, because they're definitely they're visually obvious. Like you can totally see them. And it has like an effervescence to it. Like it's not off-putting. I know that like trying to compare it like to like milk soda is really weird and off-putting, but that's the best way that you can describe the feeling in your mouth, but it's not describing the taste. It just tastes like yogurt, and you can control the amount of time that you leave this out of the fridge. The amount of time that I left it out was my discretion. You don't have to ferment it for the full 24 hours. In fact, this one I don't even think did go for 24 hours. 24 hours was making it curdle a bit too much for me. It was making it do this with it. So I decided to back off a bit and didn't do quite so much. So I think this one was probably about 18 hours. I think 18 hours is fair. And then overnight I left it to second ferment. I can already feel like a warm fuzzies in my gut already. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. There are an incredible amount of things that you can do with this. You can use it in place of sour cream. You can use it in place of yogurt. You can do anything that you do yogurt with, you can do this. Anything yogurt can do, kefir can do better, because it has much more. I don't know the facts on the pouch of the kefir, but regular kefir and its grains, especially if you use raw milk, is I'm told that it is the highest probiotic load of anything, I think, ever. This stuff originated, I think, in Turkey, I think it's Turkey, but it's in like the Caucasus Mountains. And this thing was, I mean, there's folklore about this thing. Like, while I was editing this video, I decided to look up what I remembered about the history of the milk kefir. And it was similar but pretty different, so I decided to go ahead and just retell you it really quickly. Okay, so the kefir grains date back to like biblical times. You can read about them in the Bible. I believe Abraham had them, Muhammad had them, everybody had them in like that kind of an area, and it was a very closely guarded secret because they knew that it gave them an advantage. It was just something that was very part of the culture there and very just part of the normal. It was just the soured milk, and so they did not tell people about it, and so it was not something that was widely known. And then there was an immunologist back in like the early 1900s who wanted to discover the cause of the longevity of the people in the Caucasus Mountains. So he went and traveled there, and he discovered this soured milk that they used, and he attributed that soured milk to their longevity. And so he went back to Russia and wrote about it. And then there was something called the All Russian Physicians Society. They wanted to obtain this milk to help their patients because they had discovered that it actually helped to treat tuberculosis as well as a lot of different other stomach issues. So they wanted to get a hold of it. So they commissioned the Blandov brothers from the Moscow dairy, and so they decided to go and figure out how to obtain these grains so that it could be made more widely available. And so they wanted to do it because they wanted to be the only mass producers of this particularly incredibly healthy drink. So they sent this gal who worked for them with a team of people to this prince that lived in the Caucasus Mountains, and so they decided to have her charm him to try and get a hold of the grains. And he knew her intentions, but decided to go ahead with whatever they were doing. Then when she discovered that he was not ever going to give her the grains, they bounced. And then while she was leaving the area, they were, still in his land or whatever, he sent his tribesmen to go and kidnap her, and as a forced bride, basically. And before she was able to be made into a forced bride, the dairy guys sent in their guys and rescued her from him. And then after she was rescued, she complained to this prince's boss prince, and that prince forced the other prince to give her 10 pounds of grains as recompense for what he had done to her. If you start taking these long term, like, you can kind of start to see the difference with it. This is definitely something like what I've just eaten, those few little spoonfuls is how you want to start with this type of ferment. But if you take your own milk, you have access to your own milk. You have your dairy cow milk, you have your dairy goats, your dairy cows, your dairy sheep, your, I don't know, dairy cats, according to some people. Sorry, it's just a joke. But you can totally just, all your excess, whatever you have extra, or you can make an intentional ferment of this and just have this in your morning. You can add it to your smoothies. You can add it to, you can drink it on its own, like just a probiotic charged morning drink. Like, this could be your breakfast. You just add maybe some flavorings to it. You can add the flavorings in the second ferment, like I said earlier. I just chose not to do that. And that will actually get it to be a little bit more fizzy. It'll get it to be a little bit more fizzy. You can add like syrup, you can add honey, you can add like these little monk fruit sweetener things. Like, this would be really good. It's basically empty. My husband went through them all. And these are like organic Neopacks, basically. Organic and just not super crap filled. I'm sure they have some crap, but not as much. And then there's this. You can use these if you want something a little bit more caramely instead of sweet. You could add any kind of, like, if you have canned jam, canned jelly, you could add that to it and just kind of mix it up and give it some flavor. You can add just fresh fruit, frozen fruit. You can make smoothies out of it. You can just have them whole. Like I said earlier, you can use it in place of sour cream. Like, if you're making tacos or something like that, you can just drizzle this on top. This stuff is so potent. When you're first doing it, you really want to make sure you're going slow so that you don't overwhelm your body and have a Herxheimer reaction, which is basically, if you were to drink this, okay, you would be in a lot of pain. I should say you would likely be in a lot of pain depending on the condition of your body. If you're used to having a lot of fermented foods and things like that, but you're just not used to having kefir, you could probably start higher and be a little bit less cautious. But if you're just like, okay, I want to get into ferments, let's have me some kefir and drink this whole thing, you're going to have most likely what's called I think it's a Herxheimer reaction. I need to look up that for sure to make sure. I'll put it here just for whatever. But basically that's where if you drink a lot of bacteria if you consume a lot of good bacterias, and that good bacteria in your body is going to do what it's supposed to do, and it's going to fight the bad bacteria. However, the bad bacteria puts off a chemical reaction when it dies, like it's just one final little screw you, and your body is going to have a reaction to all of those chemicals, and to the die-off, the mass die-off of all this bacteria exuding all of these chemicals. So you're going to feel like, ugh, really bad. Some people can even have like digestive pain. Some people just are going to have like headaches and feel lethargic and tired and just struggle on the struggle bus for a couple of days. You can avoid that by just going slow, or at least you can limit it extremely to where you probably wouldn't even notice it. Today, when this video goes live, it's going to be the 20th. So make sure, I'm going to link the playlist down below. So make sure that you check out the playlist. I update it daily. And so if you just click on that playlist, you can check out all the different videos, watch all the videos, subscribe and comment on all of their Fermented February videos. And then coming up on the 28th, we're going to do a live stream and we're going to give away two MasonTops kits. So make sure you stay tuned for that. The only way to enter is to comment on all of the videos. If you enjoyed this video, if you like to learn all different kinds of things about milk kefir, how to make it and how to rehydrate it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. It helps out with all the googly algorithmic stuff. And if you're new around here, make sure you click this subscribe button right here. We're doing all kinds of awesome fermenting things. Up here is a video that Mr. Google Pants thinks that you're going to enjoy. This one is my last Fermented February video, and this is going to be the Fermented February playlist. Make sure you check that out for all kinds of inspiration and knowledge. We'll see you next time. Bye.